Think WWE superstars are all about growling, smashing chairs, and crushing opponents? Well, that might be true in the ring. But outside of it, many of them turn into soft-spoken husbands, especially when their wives are around. Whether they're legends or rebels, quite a few wrestlers have openly admitted, when the wife speaks, they listen, no arguments allowed. From meals and workouts to booking shows, everything goes through the approval gate of their powerful spouses. Here are 16 iconic WWE names who proudly and hilariously represent what fans jokingly call the "Fear My Wife" lifestyle. Raw, real, and refreshingly honest. Number 1. Triple H. To WWE fans, Triple H, also known as The Game, has always been the ultimate symbol of strength, dominance, and cold-blooded intensity. As one of the most legendary figures in pro wrestling, he's known for his explosive presence and commanding aura in the ring. Even in his role as a high-ranking WWE executive, Triple H carries himself with absolute authority. But behind the scenes, things look very different, especially when he's next to his famous wife, Stephanie McMahon. As the beloved daughter of Vince McMahon, the WWE founder, Stephanie holds tremendous influence in the company. And she's probably the only person who can make the Game take a step back. In countless behind-the-scenes interviews and public appearances, fans have noticed how cautious Triple H becomes whenever Stephanie speaks. Sure, he can destroy opponents in the ring, but one word from her, and he's nodding politely and staying quiet. Fans have witnessed Stephanie publicly call him out multiple times, without him batting an eye. Instead of getting defensive, Triple H just calmly listens, as if it's the most normal thing in the world. This stark contrast between his on-screen persona and his real-life demeanor has become a fan favorite. Many even joke that the real boss of the McMahon empire isn't Vince, but Stephanie, the one woman who can make The Game play by her rules. Number 2. The Miz. When it comes to sharp-tongued trash talk, few in WWE can top The Miz. With his cocky attitude, unmatched confidence, and command of the mic, he's a standout every time he steps into the spotlight. But off-camera, The Miz turns into a surprisingly mild-mannered husband, especially next to his wife, Maryse. If you've seen their reality show Miz and Mrs., it's crystal clear who's in charge at home. Despite trying to act like the decision-maker, Miz constantly finds himself outmaneuvered by Maryse. Whether it's picking a sofa, shopping for home decor, or planning their family schedule, everything needs her stamp of approval. In one episode, she even changed their entire interior color scheme on a whim, saying it clashed with the energy of the house, while Miz could only sigh and laugh it off. Though the two often clash and banter on the show, fans love how Miz always respects her opinion and often lets her take the lead. Sure, he might get the final word in the ring, but at home, Maryse calls the shots. As fans like to joke, The Miz may be able to argue with the whole world, but the moment Maryse walks in, he knows when to tap out. Number 3. Daniel Bryan, when the GOAT becomes a gentle husband. Known for his humble lifestyle, friendly demeanor, and unbreakable fighting spirit, Daniel Bryan, now wrestling as Bryan Danielson, has always exuded sincerity and calm. But don't let his laid-back personality fool you, because when it comes to married life with Brie Bella, former member of the Bella Twins, Bryan transforms into a sweet, obedient GOAT. Brie is known for being decisive, sharp, and incredibly clear about what she wants. Bryan has even admitted, "I always try not to upset her. Trust me, it's not worth making Brie mad." On reality shows like Total Bellas, fans have seen Bryan quietly listening as his wife breaks down everything, from proper vegan diets and parenting strategies to even what color shirt he should wear outside. Brie isn't shy about giving feedback in front of others, and Bryan simply nods or smiles awkwardly, never raising his voice. Sometimes, he'll try to chime in with an opinion, but one stern glance from Brie is enough to make him back down instantly. His willingness to take a step back and keep the peace has only made fans love their dynamic even more. Inside the ring, Bryan is a relentless warrior. But at home, he's a patient husband who listens, compromises, and always puts Brie's happiness first, a rare kind of strength in its own right. Number 4. Edge. When the rated R superstar meets his match. Edge is synonymous with chaos, high-risk matches, and one of the wildest personas in WWE history. As the rated R superstar, he carved a legacy full of controversy, charisma, and unmatched skill. But away from the spotlight, Edge becomes a devoted husband, one who clearly holds deep respect and a healthy dose of fear for his powerhouse wife, Beth Phoenix. Beth is more than just a WWE Hall of Famer. She's a symbol of strength, resolve, and presence. She's not the soft-spoken type. When she enters a room, people notice, including her husband. In their joint appearances, you can see the pride in Edge's eyes when Beth speaks or takes charge. But behind that admiration is a subtle kind of playful submission. Despite his years of experience, Edge is always careful when talking about family, especially about Beth. He once joked, "I've faced legends, but with Beth, I'm smart enough not to argue for more than 10 seconds." Their everyday life also makes it clear who runs the show. From parenting to meal planning and scheduling, Edge happily follows Beth's lead. Gone is the rebellious Edge of old. Today, he's living proof of the saying, "Behind every strong man is an even stronger woman." And in his case, that woman is Beth Phoenix, the only person who can make the ultimate opportunist take a step back. Number 5. Rusev, the obedient champion at home. In the ring, Rusev, now known as Miro, was once a feared force, massive, intense, and completely ruthless. But outside the WWE lights, this powerhouse lives by one simple rule: if you want peace, do what your wife says. And he's never been shy about admitting that, even on public podcasts. His wife, Lana, also known as CJ Perry, isn't just his life partner. She's the clear commander of their household. With her bold, confident, and savvy nature, Lana is known for always staying in control, even when dealing with her physically imposing husband. Whether it's what he wears, where they go, how they work, or even which movie they watch at night, Rusev happily nods along to keep the peace. What's amusing is how completely okay he is with it. Rusev once shared, "I'm comfortable letting her handle everything. Less stress for me, and the house stays peaceful." His relaxed, and even proud attitude toward being whipped has become a running joke among fans. In the ring, he may have roared Rusev Day. But at home, every day is Lana Day. And Rusev wouldn't have it any other way. Number 6. CM Punk, the loudmouth who goes quiet for love. CM Punk built his name on rebellion, sharp wit, and a fearless attitude. He famously called out WWE's top brass, dropped pipe bombs that left fans stunned, and never hesitated to speak his mind. But when it comes to his wife, AJ Lee, the usually outspoken Punk suddenly becomes surprisingly quiet. In many interviews, it's easy to notice how Punk dodges questions about his marriage. Not because he's distant, but because he's careful. He once joked, "I don't dare say too much about AJ. If she hears it, I'll get pulled aside for a private chat, and that's never fun." AJ Lee may be petite, but she's razor-sharp and just as strong-willed as Punk himself. A standout among WWE's modern women's division, AJ isn't just intelligent. She knows exactly how to keep things in order at home. And Punk, the guy known for arguing with anyone and everyone? He chooses silence when AJ has something to say. That silence doesn't come from fear, but from respect. Fans actually love seeing this contrast. The fierce, no-filter Punk in the ring becomes soft-spoken and deferential at home. With AJ, he doesn't need to speak much, because sometimes, one look from her says it all. Say less. Listen more. Number 7. The Undertaker, when the dead man bows to love. For nearly 3 decades, The Undertaker was the immortal symbol of WWE. With his chilling presence, dark aura, and unshakable mystique, the dead man sent chills down millions of spines every time that funeral bell rang. But what fans rarely saw was the man beneath the iconic black cloak, a surprisingly obedient husband. Michelle McCool, former WWE Divas champion and Undertaker's wife, is the only person who's ever truly tamed the legendary figure. More than just a supportive partner, Michelle played a key role in transforming Taker's entire lifestyle. Once known for beer, barbecue, and those classic wrestler habits, he made a complete shift. Clean eating, healthy living, and even daily yoga, all because he listened to his wife. Taker once admitted that the idea of doing yoga sounded ridiculous at first. But after Michelle's repeated encouragement, he gave it a try, and eventually became hooked. That one change led to significant improvements in his health and even extended his wrestling career. Longtime fans might find it hard to believe, The Undertaker calmly breathing and stretching on a yoga mat. But it's true. And the person behind that transformation, Michelle McCool, the one woman who got the dead man to soften, stretch, and bow, all in the name of love. Number 8. John Morrison, the high flyer who follows his wife's lead. John Morrison, known for his breathtaking flips and action movie-like wrestling style, has long been regarded as one of the smoothest performers in the ring. But when the spotlight fades, Morrison isn't the one writing the script at home. That role belongs to a very familiar face: his wife, fellow wrestler Taya Valkyrie. In plenty of behind-the-scenes footage, it's clear who holds the remote in this relationship. Whether it's scheduling meetings, booking travel, or choosing new projects, Morrison almost always turns to Taya first. Despite his experience soaring through wrestling promotions worldwide, he has a habit of waiting for her green light before making any major decisions. Taya Valkyrie, fierce, confident, and just as experienced as her husband, is the true manager of their two-person team. Morrison once joked, "She's not just my wife, she's my senior manager." From coordinating their travel plans to picking out outfits, it's become so routine for Taya to take charge that even fans don't bat an eye. What's more, Morrison isn't the least bit bothered by it. In fact, he embraces it, often showing how proud he is to have a strong woman by his side. In the ring, he may lead the match. But in real life, the one calling the shots is clearly Taya, and Morrison is more than happy to follow her lead. Number 9. Randy Orton, the Viper with one soft spot. Say the name Randy Orton, and most people picture a full-blooded bad boy, cold, ruthless, and impossible to control. But outside the ring, the Viper has one undeniable weakness: his wife, Kim Orton. Randy might be able to take down anyone in WWE, but at home, the one in control is definitely not him. Kim Orton, bold, direct, and just as strong-willed as her husband, doesn't hesitate to call him out, even publicly on social media. Whether it's parenting, household habits, or moments when Randy gets a little too outspoken, Kim steps in unapologetically, and fans love it. Rather than pushing back, Randy takes it in stride, usually with silence and agreement. He once said, "I know exactly who's always right in this house, so I don't even try to argue." This mature and humorous attitude has given fans a rare glimpse into a softer, more grounded version of the man once known for being intense and unapproachable. Some fans jokingly say, Randy may be the legend killer in WWE, but at home, he's just a well-trained snake. And honestly, every time Orton talks about Kim with that warm look in his eyes, it's clear, he's not just playfully afraid of her, he deeply respects and adores the woman who helped reshape his life. Number 10. Kurt Angle, the Olympic hero who taps out at home. Kurt Angle, a true wrestling icon, Olympic gold medalist, and one of the greatest technical wrestlers in WWE history. He's taken down world-class opponents, entered every battle with fearless intensity, and dominated both amateur and professional arenas. But when it comes to his wife, Giovanna Yanati, Kurt proudly calls himself a willing loser. In a light-hearted interview, Kurt once laughed, "I can wrestle anyone, but I'd never dare argue with my wife." It sounded like a joke, but for Kurt, it's practically a personal mantra. Known for his toughness and fiery attitude, fans once assumed Kurt ruled the roost at home. But in reality, it's quite the opposite. Giovanna is calm, composed, but firmly in control. She doesn't shout or show off, but she always finds a way to keep everything in order, even when everything includes a wrestling legend like Kurt. From household routines and parenting to career decisions, she has the final say. And Kurt, despite all his medals and accolades, never pushes back. What's remarkable is that Kurt doesn't resent it at all. On the contrary, he often speaks about Giovanna with deep pride in his voice. After all the battles, bruises, and bloodshed, Kurt Angle seems to have found his real peace, not on the podium, but beside the one woman who makes him never want to win the argument. Number 11. Brock Lesnar, the beast who bows to his queen. Brock Lesnar, a name that commands fear across the wrestling world. With a chiseled frame, unmatched strength, and a no-nonsense demeanor, Lesnar is the very image of danger. He speaks little, fights hard, and hardly anyone dares to challenge him. But behind that intimidating exterior is a man who deeply respects one person, his wife, Sable, real name Rena Lesnar. Sable was once one of WWE's most iconic female stars, a symbol of beauty and power. But after marrying Brock, she became more than just a partner. She became the voice behind the scenes. Sable has quietly handled many of the key decisions in Brock's personal and professional life, especially when it comes to media, family matters, and career strategy. Brock is famously private. He rarely appears publicly unless absolutely necessary. He barely speaks in interviews, often giving short, clipped answers, or saying nothing at all. And that's where Sable steps in, taking control of public situations with confidence and grace. The dynamic between Brock and Sable is striking. He dominates the ring with brute force, while she manages their home and public image with poise and precision. And it's clear to anyone paying attention, when it comes to the Lesnar household, the one truly holding the mic isn't the Beast, it's Sable. Number 12. Mick Foley, the hardcore legend with a gentle heart. Mick Foley, a legend known for brutal matches and a fearless style, captivated fans through his multiple personas: Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love. But despite a career filled with blood, broken bones, and unforgettable chaos, what touches fans most isn't what happened in the ring. It's how deeply he respects and cherishes his wife, Colette Foley. Foley has said many times that without Colette, he doesn't know where he'd be. She wasn't just a supportive partner. She endured years of watching her husband come home bruised, broken, and even missing part of his ear. And the one thing Mick fears most? It's not falling off a 20-foot cage. It's disappointing his wife. Despite being the kind of man who would dive headfirst into tables or take unthinkable chair shots, Mick is surprisingly reserved when it comes to talking about his personal life. In every interview, he never forgets to thank Colette for her patience, her sacrifices, and for forgiving him during times when he got so lost in his characters that he forgot he was also a husband and a father. Mick openly admits that nowadays, he lives more slowly, thinks more carefully, and always considers how his actions might affect Colette. In the heart of this madman, there's only one person who can truly make him feel fear, and that's his wife. Number 13. Shawn Michaels, from Heartbreak Kid to devoted husband. At the height of his fame, Shawn Michaels was known as one of WWE's wildest superstars. With his cocky performances, blunt interviews, and reckless lifestyle, the Heartbreak Kid defined what it meant to be a true bad boy. But everything changed when he married Rebecca Kersey. After tying the knot with a former WCW dancer, Shawn's life took a sharp turn. Gone were the late-night parties and impulsive choices. He began living with discipline, structure, and always checked in with his wife before making important decisions. To outsiders, the transformation was shocking. But to Shawn, it was simple. "When Rebecca came into my life," he once said, "I knew I had to change if I wanted her to stay." Rebecca never tried to control him, but she had a quiet wisdom that made Shawn want to do better. She pulled him out of his darkest moments, helped him rediscover purpose, and even guided him toward faith, something no one ever expected from one of the most notorious heels in wrestling history. Today, Shawn Michaels still carries the charm and swagger of a legend. But now, he's also a devoted husband. And to his colleagues, nothing is more surprising or entertaining than watching the once stubborn rebel nod in agreement every time his wife gently offers advice. Real strength, as it turns out, isn't just about muscle. It's about knowing when to listen to the woman standing beside you. Number 14. Seth Rollins, the architect who happily takes the hits at home. Seth Rollins, nicknamed the Architect, is known as one of the smartest and most adaptable superstars in modern WWE. He can flip the momentum of any match with sharp strategy and a perfectly timed move. But there's one thing even he can't outmaneuver: the playful teasing from his superstar wife, Becky Lynch. Whether it's in joint interviews or quick backstage segments, fans can always spot that adorable, helpless look on Seth's face whenever Becky cracks a joke at his expense. From his fashion choices to his laugh or tendency to sleep in, Becky has a charming way of poking fun at her husband, and Seth? He just smiles and laughs it off. Despite being a veteran performer who's stolen the show at WrestleMania, Rollins reveals a completely different side when he's around Becky. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't argue, and often steps back to let her take the spotlight. That's why many fans lovingly call him the perfect husband of pro wrestling. Even better, Seth doesn't seem to mind at all. In fact, he once proudly said, "Becky's too smart for anyone to argue with. The best move is just to listen." So while he may be the mastermind behind WWE's new era, at home, Seth Rollins is the happy recipient of every loving jab, and wouldn't have it any other way. Number 15. Cody Rhodes, a modern gentleman who leads with respect. Cody Rhodes, with his polished presence and deep love for wrestling, has become the face of the Rhodes family's resurgence in WWE. He's known not just for his in-ring talent but also for his professionalism, class, and the way he deeply respects and honors his wife, Brandi Rhodes. Brandi is far more than just Cody's wife. She's been a partner in his wrestling journey from their time in AEW to their return to WWE. For Cody, every major decision, especially ones that affect personal time or travel, runs through Brandi first. On one occasion, fans even caught him calling his wife to ask permission before taking on a last-minute match. He joked, "If I don't ask first, dinner's off the table." Strong-willed and sharp, Brandi doesn't need to say much to command attention. And when she does speak, Cody listens, intently. Though he's a leader in the industry and a symbol of the new generation of wrestling stars, Cody never forgets to put family first. Instead of viewing asking his wife as a burden, Cody sees it as a sign of mutual respect. He understands that his success isn't built on talent alone, but also on the constant support of the woman behind the scenes. While Cody proudly carries the Rhodes name into battle, it's Brandi who quietly keeps everything grounded, playing a role no one else could ever fill. Number 16. Rey Mysterio, the high flyer grounded by love. Rey Mysterio, with his iconic mask and breathtaking aerial style, is a living legend in WWE. In the ring, he's a relentless warrior, known for defeating opponents twice his size through agility, heart, and unshakable determination. But beyond the spotlight, what truly sets Rey apart is his unwavering commitment to his family, especially his wife, Angie Gutierrez. Rey has never hesitated to give credit to the woman behind his success. In countless interviews, he shared that it was Angie who pulled him back when life began to spiral off course. At times when fame, money, and temptation surrounded him, it was Angie who kept him grounded, helping him stay true to his values and character. More than just a life partner, Angie has acted as Rey's personal compass. Even though she's not part of the wrestling world, her insight and intuition have guided Rey through many major career and life decisions. He once admitted, "Without her, I might have lost my way, like so many others did." What makes Rey truly unique is that no matter where he goes, who he faces, or how many titles he wins, he always puts family first. And the one person he's always wanted to make proud isn't WWE management or even the fans. It's the woman who stood quietly by his side through decades of ups and downs, Angie Gutierrez. Whether they're legends or rookies, one thing never changes. Behind the bright lights and roaring crowds, WWE superstars are just men who know how to love, and sometimes know when to back down to their wives. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Wrestling Sphere.